Hawaii and Australia, so in the middle. Okay, so he was very, very lucky to find this place. Now, one of the people that was at Eben Atoll was a student and researcher named Ola Feldstad from Norway. Okay, so she helped him get better because he was very, very, very skinny. He hadn't eaten anything for a long time, and he was very close to dying when they found him. So his story is very powerful. So this is what Ola Feldstad said when they found him. We first found his boat, which was probably 24 feet long, engine broken, grown over with shells and other sea animals. And it had a live baby bird, a dead turtle, some turtle shells, fish leftovers, and it was in pretty bad condition. So that's what they found on the boat when they found him. Dead animals, okay, dead fish, bones of animals. So whatever he could catch, he would eat. Okay? It said he even drank turtle blood. Okay, so that probably wasn't great. He would catch birds. Okay? He would even catch birds that would fly and rest on his boat. He would catch them and eat them. Okay, so he was very desperate. He needed food. And there's tragedy in this tale. There were 2 people on the boat when it set off from Mexico to El Salvador in September 2012. But Jose said his companion had died several months earlier. Little is known about the circumstances, as so far he's had to draw pictures to communicate with people on the remote Pacific island because they can't understand Spanish. Locals have been nursing the long-haired, bearded stranger back to health, and Ola Feldstad says Jose's doing much better. Okay, so when Jose started in Mexico, he had a person with him, but after they got lost, the person died. Okay, so it's kind of a tragedy. And this happened in September 2012 when it started. And then almost a year, more than a year later, is when he finally was rescued. And on this island of Eben Atoll, the people cannot speak Spanish. Jose is from Mexico, so he can only speak Spanish. So when the people at Eben Atoll rescued him, they couldn't understand him. So he had to draw pictures to tell them what happened because they didn't speak Spanish. And they said when they found him, he had a very long beard and very long hair. Okay, because it was over a year that he was by himself. Ola Feldstad said he's gained a lot of strength. He's been eating a lot of food, fish, rice, fruit, and drinking coffee. He's in a lot better shape now. He's able to walk around by himself. He's cracking jokes. There are good reasons to be cheerful. Had he missed the Marshall Islands, it could have been another 1,000 or so miles before Jose would have had any hope of hitting land again. Okay, so the Pacific Ocean doesn't have a lot of land. They're very, very, very small islands. So Jose was very, very lucky that he found this island. If he had gone past, he wouldn't have found anyone for over 1,000 miles. That's probably another 8 months. Okay, so that would have been terrible, and he probably would have died. So he got really, really, really lucky that he found this small little island. Okay. So I always think this story is so interesting because he wasn't on an island, he wasn't on a mountain, he wasn't lost in a forest. He was stuck on a very small boat, just drifting in the ocean. Can you imagine? What would you do with yourself? No TV, no cell phone, no friend with you, just yourself and some birds and turtles and fish. And sunlight, the sunlight was probably terrible. He was probably starving. What did he drink for water? Because you can't drink ocean water. Ocean water has salt, right? So how did he do it? So that's what really interests me about survival, is how do these people survive? What do they do to survive? So here's some vocabulary from the story, okay? So adrift means to float on the water for a very long time. Okay, we usually talk adrift as in a boat. A boat is adrift on the ocean. Emaciated means starving. You haven't eaten anything for so long that your body gets really, really small, okay, where you can see your bones. So Jose was emaciated when they found him at Evan Atoll. Okay. Anthropology. Okay, this is a study, a major that you can take in college, and it studies humans. Okay, history, human culture. Okay, the future of humans. Okay, that's anthropology. So Ola, she is an anthropology student and a researcher. Okay, so for her, it was probably very interesting to find Jose because she studies humans. So that was probably very interesting. Harrowing. Okay, if you say something is harrowing, that means it's long and dangerous and difficult. Okay, so his journey, Jose's journey was long and dangerous and difficult. Okay? Tragedy is something that does not end well. Okay? We often say movies, television shows, stories can all be tragedies. Even plays, like acting on a stage, we can play tragedies. One person who was famous for writing tragedies was Shakespeare. Have you heard of Shakespeare before? William Shakespeare? Okay, he was famous. He also wrote tragedies before. So he wrote stories that did not end well, that ended in something terrible. Companion is a person who is with you, but not as good as a friend. Okay, so they're just kind of with you, but they're not really your friend. Okay, so they're just your companion. We say dogs and cats and animals can be our companions if we're not very connected to them, but if we are, they are our friends. Okay, and then we have circumstance. Okay, the situation in which something happens, okay? What was the circumstance of my graduation? How did I graduate? What did I do to graduate? What was my situation with graduation? Okay? So do you guys understand what survival is? You guys know what that is? Survival, the word survival. Do you know what survival means? Okay. So survival, okay, the word survival here, okay, it means staying alive. Okay. So there are some situations in which we need to survive. I have one example. Is a plane crash. Okay, let's say you're on a plane going to, let's say, Hawaii, and your plane crashes into the land. And you're the only person who survives. You're the only person that didn't die. But you can't find anybody else. So you have to stay alive. Okay, you have to stay alive. You have to keep living until you find someone to help you. What's another situation? Can you guys think of another one? What else could happen to us? What else could happen to us? Okay, what else could happen to us where we need to stay alive? So we want to stay alive. We don't want to die. So what can happen where we have to stay alive? Okay, what about if we get lost? Okay, you get lost in the forest, or you get lost anywhere and there's no other people, right? You have to stay alive, right? Okay, anything else? Any other times? What about tsunami? Or an earthquake? Okay. So plane crash. A typhoon, yeah, maybe you have to survive a typhoon. Okay, maybe you're on a big boat. A fire, okay, a fire. Okay, or maybe you're on a boat and your boat sinks, right? Okay. Okay. Airplane, right here. Airplane, plane crash. Any others? What if somebody steals you? Do you know what that's called? Somebody takes you. Yeah, what if someone takes you and you don't know where you are? It's called kidnap. Kidnapped. Okay. Sick? That's a different type. This is like if you're in a place and something happens. So plane crash, you get lost on a mountain, you get lost. Oh, car crash, yes. Okay, or maybe your car is broken, okay? Your car breaks down and you don't know where you are, okay? Or maybe there's a snowstorm. Okay. Oh, a tornado, okay. Yeah, a tornado. Where I lived in the US, we had many tornadoes. Very scary. They can take your house away. Yeah. They're very scary. Okay, any other survival situations? Anything else could happen? Ah, I know. A volcano. Volcano. Okay, the mountain and it.
爆炸。
Volcano.
这你刚才讲。
So you have a mountain,
山上
and inside the mountain is hot. Okay, and it flows. Okay, a bomb. A bomb.